Anyone operating in a professional environment or even as a consumer will come to find that many things in life can be negotiated. Your salary, a promotion, price of a car, what is included in your home purchase contract, what you're having for dinner, the list is nearly endless. But many out there will simply take things at face value and accept what they're given. Here are 10 key tips to improve your negotiation skills and build favorable outcomes in any situation. Before we begin, I want to highlight one key thing, and that is that the point of a negotiation is to come to a successful outcome that favors both sides. It is not about winning or losing a negotiation. It is about getting a deal done. As soon as the other side of the negotiation starts to feel like they are losing, they may push even harder in the opposite direction or blow up a deal altogether, and we do not want that. So first, have a batna, a best alternative to the negotiated agreement. We want our alternatives to be within the other side's settlement range, and we know that if it reaches beyond that point, then we can take our offer elsewhere. This can be as simple as a price and as complex as a multifaceted legal contract between entities, but you should always have an alternative that acts as your worst case walk-away bookend. If possible, avoid making the first offer. This will help you avoid showing all of your cards right out of the gate. The first offer goes out without any information of what a negotiation may end up looking like. This is a massive advantage to know where the starting point is, as it lets you leverage that as a proportional increase to the midpoint from your first offer. Which leads me to my next point. Set an extreme anchor early on. If you're making the first counteroffer and you know that your offer is 20% more than their initial anchor, then you can set that as the midpoint of the negotiation and then tack on a buffer. Numerically, let's say that initial offer is 100 and you think 150 is fair. You can clock in 200 to set the midpoint or go even higher at 220 or 240. This draws up that fair midpoint in your mind and gives you room to make more concessions on core criteria like price, while the other negotiator will have to make more concessions elsewhere to get that midpoint like warranties, support, or other add-ins. Even if there are not more complex components to the deal, it will make the other side of the table much happier when they feel like they were able to get you back down to reality where they envision that midpoint should be. Building onto this, focus on where the center is set rather than getting everything you want. It may not be possible to get the exact price you want no matter what goes on in the negotiation. So you should be okay getting close enough and make concessions to get there incrementally. And then, be willing to walk away. There should always be a point at which the deal no longer makes sense to you or becomes too heated and complex of an agreement to be reached. This is why it's important to have your batna, as I mentioned earlier, in the back of your mind to compare against. I would take this one step further and even say have a deal slightly better than your batna that you would be willing to go towards the door for your offer, where you literally start to close things down and say, well, wait, what about this last offer just as you're starting to walk out the door? This may still be favorable for you compared to your batna and can still enable a deal to get done in the end. This is especially important if you know you're going into a negotiation in an unfavorable position. In contrast to this, know when to stop pushing. If you're already heavily advantaged in terms of getting what you want out of the negotiation, it's okay to stop and call it done. As mentioned previously, the point is to get a deal done with everyone feeling good about the outcome. This can be huge in terms of driving repeat business and long-standing business and personal relationships. Up next, embrace silence as an ally. Not responding to an offer or letting the air sit for a minute can often prompt others to fill that air, which can make them unintentionally show more of their cards. The more information you're able to obtain from their conversation, the more equipped and knowledgeable you will be about their needs versus their wants, or what we can call their underlying motivations, which leads me to the next point. Mirror their motivations. If they care about price the most, make it seem like you do too. Even if other aspects matter more to you, this will keep the other side's attention focused in while you can ask for concessions in other areas of the deal. In some ways, this is a smoke and mirrors tactic to get things added into a deal that would not have initially been considered or allowed. In fact, I'm sure this is how Congress gets these 1,000-page bills written up. Then we get to a softer piece. Force empathy. You can do this by straight up asking, how can we make this a win-win? Or how am I supposed to make this other concession? If I can help you here, can you help me there? This detracts them from logic and could make them regret not compensating for their asks in one way or another in a sense of fairness. Never forget, there is always another human on the other side of the table that you are working with, and if you are able to finish a deal, you will both likely benefit in one way or another. And finally, be specific. Know exactly what you want going in the door and have all pieces of the deal envisioned in your head. I would even suggest writing them down beforehand. The more specific your vision is, the more likely you are to make it a reality at the table. These 10 negotiation tips and tactics can help anyone improve the outcomes of their deals. But the final key factor to becoming a better negotiator is going to be practice. It does not have to be high stakes. Even just going to a few garage sales on the weekend and negotiating over someone's knickknacks can be meaningful practice. Work smart, be kind, and help others. Thank you so much if you made it this far. Please consider liking and subscribing for more professional development content, and feel free to comment any questions below. Bye.